these guys are at their prime. What do you tell them that they don't already know, that they haven't already heard? How do you get them amped? How do you get them motivated for the next game or the next practice or even just for the season?
You're bringing 60 guys together. They come from everywhere. Football is the ultimate people business because it brings people from so many diverse backgrounds together, and in our case, a lot of scarred backgrounds, just frankly. And at the end of the day, you have to create a vision, because all leaders do. You got to create a proactive plan on a daily basis to get to that point. But I think before you can decide what you want to do with your team, you got to decide who you are and what you want that locker room to look like and feel like. And so it starts with some very basic principles, whatever those principles are. Number one is you have to know why you do it. And why I do it is I have a skill set. I understand the science of football. That doesn't get me anywhere with the players unless I can show them that I can teach them how to master their craft, because that's really what they want to know. And then I have to provide an environment which teaches selflessness and discipline, because in my opinion, all great players want discipline. They want an itinerary. They want to know how to go about doing things. And then ultimately what I want them to get them to do is to want it for each other more than they want it for themselves. And that is the process of the overall process of why I do what I do, and that is not to get them championship rings, not to build a leadership team, but to build a team of leaders and to transform men into better husbands, fathers, and teammates, which I think leads to winning. The key to leading that way is you're going to have people roll your eyes at you each and every day. Your coaches do, your players do, and if you want to lead and you want to teach leadership, the number one thing you have to do is teach them to be relentless in their beliefs. Whatever anybody thinks, you have to believe in what you're doing, you have to be relentless in selling it, and you have to be creative enough to sell it different ways on different days so people are hearing it the way they can understand it, because their reality is not our reality. And it's the ultimate people business. You have to create relationships first, extend trust first, and then develop and earn their trust on a daily basis. We had a player say, "Hey, Bussy, let's move it." I stopped the bus. I brought the player up. I said, apologize to him. He's part of our team. He's getting us to the game safely, and you're disrespecting him. And players go, what is he talking about? I mean, I closed the door in Vancouver on 2 players because they were late. And they had to fly home on $1,500 tickets because they didn't make the bus. And players thought I lost my mind, and then I have 3 veterans going, he's doing exactly the right thing. You just have to be relentless. When you lead, if you let things go, your subordinate will let things go. Their subordinate will let, and the thing about leaders, people you're leading see everything. I mean, the flight attendants, we get off the plane, I sit in the back. I'm the last seat on the plane and the train. Because when I walk up through the airplane, I'm the one picking up the garbage. And players see that. And then flight attendants tell us when we have charters, we're the cleanest team. We're the most respectful team. Because as soon as I walk on the plane, I'm the first one on. I say, if any player says something to you, I want to know. And our players were exemplary. We didn't have one issue. Even though I'm the coach, I tried to make sure everybody in the organization knew that what they did affected our ability to win or lose on game day. The ticket people, the president, the CFO, constantly encouraging, constantly letting them know that they affect how they treat our coaches, affects how our coaches treat our players, affects winning on game. Just probably the number one job of a leader is to show everybody every day how they're connected to each other. So that was always my morning message is players never got game balls. The janitor got game balls. The equipment guy got game balls. The assistant trainer got a game ball. Because the message is that everybody affects winning. And the one person who affects, why point out one player during a game who gets a game ball when it took all 44 guys to win the game? You know what I'm saying? But that's a leader's job is to show how everybody matters because they're not caught up with themselves. They're trying to better others, so that therefore their antennas and their radar are geared toward not how they're perceived, but how they can help. That's a big difference.
CFL Coach of the Year, Grey Cup champion, Marc Trestman.